Assalamu alaikum and welcome to lecture number 30 of database management system course. So in the last lecture we discussed about the SQL procedures, the functions and the triggers, and they are collectively called as SQL routines. In this lecture we are going to start another topic that is MySQL views. I already have discussed with you about the views, the rough sketch or the concept of views. As we discussed that we do not give the full access to the users of the databases. We do not let them interact with the data. We do not expose the structure of our database to the users. We do not expose all of the sensitive information that is stored in the databases. So what we do, we create a views. Views are the logical windows that is a portion of database that is visible, that has been exposed to the users, so that they can interact with that particular view, and they can select the data from this particular view, and they can insert or update or delete the data using those views that are visible to them. So in this lecture, we will be discussing about the MySQL views, how to create the views, how to delete the views, how to select the information from the views, and how to update the information from the views. We will also see some of the advantages of using the views. Why do we use the views in databases? And also we will be seeing some of the different types of the views. So let's just start with the definition or what's the concept of the database views. So you can consider the views as virtual tables that are actually not particularly storing the data by themselves, but they are just providing a window in which you can select the data and you can perform some operations. So the views could be considered as virtual table. They have the data, but the data is actually the reflection of the original data that is stored in the database table. Okay, so the views do not actually hold the data. They are only working as the logical windows. So the main purpose, the primary purpose of the views is actually to display the data. So for the users to perform the queries, to select the data, to do the reporting. So this is the purpose of making the views. So in other words, the views are nothing but SQL queries. A view can contain all or few of rows from a table. So you can consider few of the rows from the table or few of the columns from the table as per your requirement. Another thing is that the view can show the data from one or more table. That is not necessary that a view provides only the logical view or the access to some of the records of a particular table or some of the attributes of a particular table, but it can also provide you the data from 2 or 3 or more different tables. Okay, so now we will see this with an example so you can better understand the concept of views. Let's say we have two tables. The first one is customer and the second one is payment, and we have the attributes in customer like customer number, check number, payment date and amount, and we have some attributes in the customer table as well, including the customer name, its number, and the phone number and address, and all of the other information relevant to the address. Okay, so these are the two tables we have, and we are just going to do some reporting, selecting some data from the database from these two tables. So if we want to select the data from customer table, for example the customer name, the check number, the payment date and the amount, so we will write a query like select these data from the customer, inner join the payments using customer number. Okay, so we have one attribute from here and the other attribute from the payment table. So we are actually joining these two tables. Okay, so here are we selecting the customer name from the customer table, and the other information from the payment table, and the key that is used to join these two tables is the customer name. Okay, so the customer name is the key, sorry, the customer number is the key. Okay, so so this is the information that we have, that we wanted to have, that is the customer name, the information of the name of all of the customers, along with the check numbers and the payment and the amount. Okay, so just suppose that we have wrote this query, and after a week or after a few days we again want to write the same query. So what is actually what should actually be the procedure? So if you want to get the same information next time, what you can do, you can create a text file or SQL file, and then and store this query in this file, and whenever you want to execute the query, you can just copy and paste. This is the one method, the one way to doing this thing, to actually escape from to avoid writing of the same query again and again. But there is a better way to do this, that is actually using the database views. Using the database views, you can actually create the view. You can actually store this query as a view in the database, and it will be permanently stored. Okay, and you can interact with this view whenever you want. So by the definition, a view is name query stored in the database catalog. So what is actually a view? A view is a query, a name query, that has been assigned some name and has been stored permanently in the database. So whenever you want the same query again, what you have to do, you have to just call the view. You do not have to write the query again. You just have to select the data, select all the data from this particular view. Okay, so now we will see with an example how we create the views actually. So to create a new view, what we have to do, we have to actually use the create view command. The syntax is create view, then view name, as is the keyword, and select statement. So here is the statement. Here is actually the query that you actually want. The query that you want to be permanently stored. You do not want to write this query again and again. So a view will be created with the name that you have defined here, and with the statement of the query that you want to store permanently. So here is an example. Okay, now create view customer payments. So this is the name of the view actually. As is a keyword, and then you have the statement. So the statement is the same as we have seen before, this one. So we have just copy and pasted the statement as it is here. So it will create a view that whose name is customer payments, and what is the definition of the view, that is select this information from the customer and join it with the payments using the key customer number. So now how are we going to select the data from these views when we want? So let's move to the selection of the data from the views. So once you have executed the create view statement, MySQL will actually permanently store this view in the database. Views are actually the virtual tables, so they are stored just like tables in the databases. So when you want to reference them and you want to run your query, or you want to select the data from this view, so how do you select? This is similar as you do from the tables. Similarly, the way you select the data from the tables, the same syntax and the same mechanism is actually used to select the data from the customer payments as well. So here you can see that uh, we in the previous slide we created a view, a database view with the name customer payments, and now we are going to select the data from this particular view, and the name of the view is customer payments. So select asterisk from customer payments. So what it actually do, it will actually run this particular query. So this select query will run, and we will get this result again. So if we will select all from this view, so we will get this data, and we can also restrict the data using the view the where clause, as we do in the tables. So you can consider them as virtual tables, and you can query the data as you do in the tables similarly. Okay, so we can write the select customer name and check number only from the view that is customer payments. We can write that select customer name, check number, where the date is this particular date, or where the amount is greater than 1000. So that's upon you. How do you write the queries to select the data from this particular view? All right. Okay. So note that the view does not physically store the data. When you issue the select statement against the view, MySQL excludes the underlying query. It actually executes the underlying query. I just discussed that the same query will be executed, and you will get the same data that we have selected before. So the data, the same query that was specified in the view's definition, and it returns the result. For this reason, sometimes a view is referred to as virtual table. As the term I already used, that the views are also known as the virtual tables due to the fact that they actually you can interact with the views similarly as you interact with the tables. Okay, so here you will better understand how do we select data from the views. So MySQL allows you to create a view based on the select statement that retrieves data from one or more tables. This is actually the picture that illustrates how the views works, or how do we select the columns from multiple tables. So we have created a view, create view, the name is B, as select C2, C3, C5, C7, C2, C3, C5 and C7 from table T1. This is the T1, inner join T2 and inner join T3. Alright, so what we have here as a result, C2, C3, C5 and C7, all of the records from these tables are here, and this is a virtual table for us. And whatever we want to do, whatever we want to perform the operation with this, similarly as a table. So this is a virtual table for us. We can select the data from this. We can select the data with the restriction of where clauses. We can select the number of columns, or we can call it as project. We can select, we can project, we can restrict the data with the where clauses. We can group by, we can alter by, we can do whatever we do with the tables. Okay. So now we will actually create a view in MySQL, and I will show you how to create a view in MySQL, and then we will move to the other things, that how to actually visualize the views after creating them, and how to drop the views, and how to update the data using the views.